Happy Friday! Welcome to Scalzo and Brust. I know it's Thursday, but it's Friday for me, so deal with it.
And me.
Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra. It's Saturday for Ben Brust. His Friday was yesterday, as we're joined by our cousin sub of the day, Alex Strofe. What up, Strofe?
Hey, Greg, good to be with you on your Friday, my Thursday. I'm also going to a concert tomorrow night, but I didn't take the day off from work. I'm filling in for you guys tomorrow, and then I'm going to go to the concert after work like a responsible adult.
Well, you're going to the great Tyler Hubbard concert, right?
No, actually not Tyler Hubbard.
AmFam Championship. Just go with it, Strophe. AmFam Championship, of course, one of the great events of the year. We're going to be out there over the next 3 days. That's where Ben Brust is playing right now on the Pro-Am. He might be wrapped up. Joshy, can you do me a favor, figure out what pro he played with today? I would love to find out what pro he played with. Yeah, thanks for all the fill-ins you're going to be doing here over the next 6 days, Strophe.
Happy to do it. Now, can I ask you where you'll be next week? You taking a little vacay, or what's going on?
Yep, got a little family vacay going on. So me, my wife, my 2-year-old daughter, and we are going out west, a little San Diego action.
Great city.
Never been, actually.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why everyone's surprised about that. Like, I grew up on the East Coast. When you're on the East Coast, you never go to the West Coast for vacation.
You're well-traveled, though, Greg, so you've been a lot of places.
I have been, but, like, growing up, you didn't, and then I guess it's fair. But San Diego, I've never found myself in. I'm excited about it.
Been there twice. It's amazing. Enjoy. Well-deserved vacation for you. Unlike Benny, who took the day off today and tomorrow. So you earned it, pal.
I appreciate that. Yes, Ben, myself, and Josh DiMaggio will all be headed down to Chicago to Wrigley Field tomorrow for a Dead & Company concert in honor of Grateful Dead Thursdays. Ben Brust, with his debut, I think, had a major just a major concert in general. I feel like he's never actually been to a major concert outside of the country category. So we'll see how he responds there. And I'm sure we'll have some stories after that from Ben Brust. I think he's listening. I think he's aware. But just in general, we did buy him, me and my wife, a tie-dye Grateful Dead shirt that he's going to be wearing tomorrow at the Dead & Company show.
What a visual. Yeah. What a visual. I have so many questions about this going on tomorrow. I'm so excited for this. Like I'm having a little bit of FOMO because the three of you in this venue at this type of show, the two of you work, Joshy and you, Greg. Like, it makes sense to me. This isn't the first rodeo for you two. Brust doesn't fit in at all with the crowd he's going to be around. I'm so curious what his role is going to be tomorrow. I feel like he's going to be uncomfortable. Like, I don't think he understands the gravity of the situation in which he's getting himself into. Would you agree with that?
Yes and no. Like, I feel like he doesn't fully understand, but I think he knows that he's going into this sort of willing to go with the flow, and that's a good Benny. And as long as he stays in that headspace, I think he'll be okay. But he hasn't had to plan anything. He hasn't had to do anything. All he has to do is show up, and it's basically like he's going to be on a ride that as long as he doesn't exit while it's moving, he'll be okay. But it's also Brust, and you never know. So, I think he's going to experience a lot he hasn't experienced before, and I think he's going to learn a little bit more about life as he normally does. He once showed up to a government mule concert with me at the Sylvie in Madison in a full suit.
Okay.
And government mule, yes, in case you don't know, is like a grittier Grateful Dead in terms of a less popular Grateful Dead in terms of the fans that you'll find there. So we'll see.
So you've been in this environment with Benny before that.
Kind of.
Which makes me feel a little bit less worried for his well-being.
Kind of, but like he treats it like we're all going to a bar together where there happens to be live music. So, at the Sylvie, there's that big bar on the first floor there that's beautiful, and you've got that perfect eye visual to the stage. So, like, we kind of hung out back there, and he was able to kind of, chop it up with us and hang out. And I think the stadium scene is going to feel a little bit different.
Yeah, that's fair. And, I think a Wrigley Dead and Company show, now that's not necessarily my cup of tea. It is because it's Thursday, of course, but I feel like that's going to be an absolute blast for the two of you. I'm worried about like four things for Benny. Number one, I think he's going to get really invested in the strangers and the people watching that naturally happens at a Dead and Company show, right? I think that's going to be the highlight for him. Number two, I'm afraid you're going to lose him at some point throughout the evening. I just think he's going to get lost because, again, you just alluded to it, Greg. This is a stadium show. Like, this is not your casual concert environment. I love the Sylvie, which you just brought up. It's a very intimate concert venue with only like 3,000 people in it. This is Wrigley Field. We're talking 10 times that amount of people. So I think you're going to lose Benny at some point. Tie-dye shirt Benny or suit Benny? I don't know which one I'd rather see at a concert. I'm very excited to see.
I just want to see him at tie-dye.
Yeah, the tie-dye.
I'm excited to see that.
The tie-dye's a good
I'm going to need a picture.
Because if Ben shows up in a quarter zip and his classic slacks that he wears, those people stick out. Even though there's a lot of them, they get clocked. People notice where they're moving, so at least he's going to blend in at some point. Especially with us, who are, I'm sure, all going to be also wearing tie-dye Grateful Dead shirts.
Will he?
Now, speaking of clothing,
I think he'll.
Yeah.
I think he's going to look like a narc in the tie-dye shirt.
He does.
I think he's going to look like. Is this guy undercover right here? Do we have to move a section over?
I'm putting on the poll. Will Ben Brust look like a narc in a Grateful Dead shirt at Dead Company? I'm putting it on the poll.
Put it on the poll. All right, what else you got, Strophy? I'll address these one by one here.
The fourth and final one I've got for you is Ben is known to not wear underwear, and I feel like a concert venue, and you may understand what I'm getting at here, is you need to wear underwear.
I'm not sure I entirely get where you're going because there's multiple ways that we could go.
That's kind of my point, right? Like, number one, you're going to be drinking all day. Ben was off today, so I'm sure he's having a few mixed today. And tomorrow he's going to be drinking, and we know he has bowel issues. So what if something slips out because you're standing in the same place for a long time, right? And he talked about last week, right? He was going to urinate himself because he didn't want to pull over his car at one point. I feel like undergarments are a good option for that. Number two is he gets sweaty, so naturally you don't want your pants. And he wears a lot of khakis. I don't know what he's wearing tomorrow necessarily, but he's going to have sweat stains everywhere. It's going to look odd. I think he needs to wear underwear. That's where I'm going with this.
Yeah, you're not entirely wrong. I do worry about tummy issue, Benny. I think that's a major concern tomorrow.
Big time.
And he is not good when he gets the little bubble guts and they're popping up there. So we'll see how he does there.
Does he know what we're doing for lunch?
Yes, he does.
Okay, so he's prepared for his.
He's prepared.
His allergy.
He's been there before, and he can eat around that at the restaurant there. Okay. Yes. I'll say this to start out with him looking at strangers. He is like a child, right? Where he's got like we're gonna have to tell him to stop staring at people. I'm entirely confident of that. He will be like, "Oh, did you see that person like dancing in the aisle?" 100%, no doubt about it. If there's a candidate of somebody to get lost at Wrigley Field, however, it will be me. I prefer to get lost at shows like this. When me and Joshie were at Fish last summer at Alpine Valley, there might have been a half a set where I just don't appear. Now, Josh knows that I'll find my way back. There's no concern. He's doing his thing. I'm doing my thing. You kind of wander. You come back together. But I'm probably the more likely one to get lost. I think Ben will just stick right there.
He's going to have home base, and he's going to have his one place to get beer.
Yep.
And one place to use the restroom, and that's it.
Yep. And I think he's going to...
Okay, so why I bring that up? Why I bring that up is because, Greg, you're an adult. I trust you wandering, and you've been in these scenarios before. You've been at stadium shows. You've been at concerts. You've been at Dead and Company concerts. So I'm intrigued by Ben because I have a feeling he's just going to be totally out of his element. He's going to have no idea how the hell to act. That's what I worry about.
Oh, 100%. I'm more interested when everyone's moving around and dancing. Like, is he just going to be leaning over and doing one-liners? Like, because that's all I see him doing. When I envision Ben Brust there, is him leaning over and doing one-liners, staring at people and pointing at people in the crowd, and then, like, kind of back up straight while, Joshie and I are out there boogieing.
So you wandering might be strategic.
I mean, it always is. Like, I like to check out the scenes at shows. I prefer, if I were to see a Dead and Company, I would prefer to see him at an Alpine over a Wrigley. Wrigley Field's always kind of cool, right? It's historic, but like, I like the big open fields. I like the festival ground style shows the most. for a variety of reasons, and so yeah, I'll make my way around that stadium a little bit. I'll check it out, see different angles and whatnot. Now, Josh and I are going back-to-back nights, so we're going to be able to do a little exploring there. Just Josh and I, night 2.
Yeah,
there's 6 of us going night 1, the 3 of us and our significant others. Night 2, everyone's dropping out, and it's just Josh and I.
It's going to be a big night.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, you guys are going to be feeling rough on Sunday. I love that. That's such a nice bonding experience for the two of you. But you guys are avid concert goers, which I appreciate about the two of you. I think Saturday is going to get messy, though, fellas. Is that fair?
Saturday could get messy. Saturday's gonna be fun. Like we manage our stuff well. Josh and I both have our cadence. Like there is no we got to do shots here. Like you do what you do and you have fun.
Greg and I function great together because we both do our own thing and don't really hound the other person. Yeah. Whatever they're doing. Otherwise, you're fine.
Yeah, that feels like a subtle. That feels like you're talking about somebody that's not in the room right now, Joshy. Is that a subtle jab at Benny? Is he going to be hooked to your hip?
That's not specifically at him, but there's different people at different concerts, especially on the magnitude of a Dead and Company or a Fish like Greg and I went to, where as long as you're there and you're in one piece, that's kind of the biggest hurdle, and after that, you just kind of let the concert happen.
Yeah, and we know Josh and I never have to worry about babysitting each other. Right. That like someone like those are the worst people to go to concerts with. That like, and I don't. This won't be Ben. Like I'm pretty convinced of that. Where it's like, oh man, this person's so blasted that like I can't even like focus on having fun because they're sloppy.
I'll tell you what, if this was sold on pay-per-view, I'm not talking about the concert. I'm talking cameras on the 6 of you. I would purchase it in a flash, and I would watch the entire thing. I'm so curious as to what the dynamic. I didn't realize the significant others were in play here too, Greg. So I imagine you and your wife and Joshy and his girlfriend. This is your vibe. It makes sense. Now I don't know Ben's significant other very well, but I know Benny, and I just feel like the word narc was a good word choice earlier. Like this is going to be if there's somebody to people watch at Wrigley Field tomorrow night, it's Ben Brust. I'm so fascinated by how he's going to act and interact with everybody around him because it's such a different crowd than what he's used to and maybe even expects going in.
Hillsy chimes in 800-990-3776. Again, 800-990-ESPN. We'll open up the phone lines as well. Hillsy says Benny is absolutely going to have a hello, fellow deadheads, narc feel. And I totally relate to that and agree with that. Ron on the Key, welcome to Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. What do you got for us?
I too am so eager to hear about this, to see about this. I know you guys don't want to self-report on like Insta like Ben will undoubtedly do, but I hope conversely he lets you take pictures of him. Because I think that really bad Photoshop I did of him with his horribly long basketball shorts at a Dead show is probably close to real as what we would expect. And I hope you didn't buy him a good tie-dyed shirt. I hope, and you probably didn't because you're probably a good friend. But it would have been better if you bought him the quintessential like poser shirt that is actually more identifiable as I don't belong than a quarter zip would have been. Because you could argue quarter zip would be like, oh, this guy doesn't care because he's just fitting in. Whereas like I just bought this at the outside, inside this concert venue T-shirt, like screams.
No, this one's even worse. It's the I just bought this at Nordstrom shirt. It's At
Wrigley, he's going to be safe. Even at Alpine, right? Even Dead shows, Fish shows at Alpine are still inside Alpine, right? So there's technically there's grass in the back, but there's rows and whatever. Can you imagine that child at like a Lollapalooza or an actual place like that where he could get lost? Couldn't you imagine Ben at Woodstock and him having to try to call you saying, I'm sorry, I'm somehow outside the event. I can't get back in.
Yes, I could. I do think that would present different challenges for Ben Brust in that spot.
Thank you for the call.
Even Alpine, though, you can move around easy. Like, even if you don't have the ticket to move up into the rows, if you want to, you can find your way up there. I think Wrigley's going to be a little bit tighter. I think they're going to treat it a little bit more like a baseball game as far as, like, where and how you can move around in that respect.
It'll be interesting because I've seen a lot on TikTok of a lot of the deadheads in the rows and in walkways just dancing like maniacs. And I wonder if they're going to be more strict at that at a venue like Wrigley versus some of the other, which are music venues. That's what they're made for versus like this is a baseball stadium. But like you're fighting a losing battle with Deadheads.
Totally. And in general, I mean, the Grateful Dead historically would have said, look, like if you, offer a suggestion, then Deadheads will listen. If you're like polite, like people at those concerts will listen. If you try to make it an order, then people will revolt.
Yes.
Rob from Milwaukee says, regardless of the reason, weather gets nicer and Ben takes the day off. Not surprised at all. Enjoy the show. Take in as much of Wrigley Field as you can. Yes, Ben does have a good reason to not be here today. I will say that. He's hanging out at the Pro-Am at the AmFam Championship, which starts tomorrow. That's right. Tournament starts tomorrow. Ben's playing in the Pro-Am today. We'll figure out exactly who he's playing with. Unless, Josh, did you get that?
I have not gotten that yet.
Okay. He must be having a few Michelob Ultras right now, which, you know what? He earns post-playing. AmFam Championship, again, coming up tomorrow, Friday, June 9th through the weekend, Sunday, June 11th. You're going to get tournament host Wisconsin native Steve Stricker. It's all at the University Ridge Golf Course. Beautiful University Ridge Golf Course. One of my favorite events of the year, one of my favorite venues of the year, favorite golf courses. And it's like the best of the best when you think about the golfers over the last 30 years. You're going to have Freddie Couples there. You're going to have John Daly there. You got Strick. You're going to have Jerry Kelly. You're going to have Ernie Els. You're going to have Vijay Singh. All of these guys are going to be there, and it is truly going to be a beautiful weekend. Exciting concert featuring Tyler Hubbard of Florida Georgia Line coming up tomorrow night. Proceeds support the Steve Stricker American Family Insurance Foundation and the AmFam Children's Hospital. Get your tickets today at amfamchampionship.com. That's amfamchampionship.com. Adam in Madison chimes in, says Benny will be the guy asking people why their pupils are all dilated. I do want to get Ben in some pictures with some Deadheads at some point.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to need to get at least a picture together as the show, of course. And I would like him just in a sea of Deadheads. Yeah. Like they have Shakedown Street where it's like they're kind of where they have all the vendors and people selling stuff. I just want Ben swarmed in the middle of that.
I could not agree more. Alex Strofe, your cousin sub of the day, he's in for Ben Brust. And as the Vikings seem to be selling, part ways with Dalvin Cook, and continue to not necessarily go all in. We asked the question, is Ben Brust going to end up eating dog food at the end of the 2023 season? We'll talk about it next. It's Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
You're listening to Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
101 calories in a 24-minute sex session. That's the result.
When you're Ben Brust laying on your back, expecting everybody else to do the work.
I hate you so much.
Scalzo and Brust. Available anywhere you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
We have an accident on 94 eastbound right about at the county line. It is in the center lane. That's got things backed up to before Moreland Road, so just give yourself that extra time. Beyond that, we've got delays heading in from about 76th Street through the Stadium interchange to about 35th. The westbound side slow onto the Marquette to about Hawley Road. And then on southbound 43, riding the brakes from Fond du Lac Avenue all the way down through the Marquette with the northbound side slow from Kilbourne all the way past Capitol Drive. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, clear and comfortable, a low of 53 at the lakefront, 48 inland. And then tomorrow, sunny and beautiful, a high of 76 at the lakefront, 80 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lozga, 94.5 ESPN.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Homer, Tony, living in perfect harmony. Yeah, right.
Jordan Love stinks next year. You think he's out of the NFL?
As a starting quarterback, yes, he might.
You think
not.
he's out?
No, I mean,
no. You just said might.
No, I'm saying starting quarterback.
You
He
just
could
said
be.
might.
I know, because he could be a backup, whatever the hell that's worth. That's worth nothing. As a starter, he could be done.
Could be, yeah, but he could not be. Also, it's not a do or die.
Well, that's a hell of a concern.
Listen to Homer and Tony weekdays from 2 to 4 on 94.5 ESPN and wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
The only diamond more valuable than colorless
is the diamond that is colorful. Pink, yellow, and blue.
In 2016, Christie's auction house sold a 14-karat blue diamond for $56 million.
That's $4 million a carat.
In 2022, Sotheby's auction house sold an 11-karat pink diamond for $57 million.
That's more than $5 million a carat.
These diamonds were born when the Earth was born.
They come from the heart of the Earth.
But now there are also pink, yellow, and blue diamonds that were born when you were falling in love.
These created diamonds come from the fiery heart of a miniature sun blazing inside a plasma chamber. Hot, hot, hot.
Pink, yellow, and blue.
Your colorful 1-carat wonder awaits you for $12,000 or less.
Your colorful 3/4 carat miracle awaits you for $8,000 or less.
Get them while you can.
Welcome to Kessler's.
To find the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
It's the road trip edition of On the Tee this weekend. Stephen Watson brings all the sights and sounds from University Ridge Golf Course in Madison on a Saturday afternoon of On the Tee, live from the American Family Insurance Championship.
Golf fans everywhere, right? To see somebody have so much class, charisma, and then the ability to turn it to another level.
It's On the Tee, presented by Wisconsin Golf Trips at the AmFam Championship, Saturday from 10 to noon, right here on 94.5 ESPN.
Welcome to Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. May I take your order?
Yeah, I'd like 9 windows, please. I'm hoping they'll match my home.
Have it your way.
Excuse me? We're talking about windows, right?
Yes. Pella's design options are virtually limitless, even more customized than your coffee.
So you're like my personal barista for windows and doors.
Exactly. And if you customize your order by August 31st, you can bundle and save big.
Good deal.
Get started today at PellaWI.com.
You're listening to Scalzo and Brust on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Michelob Ultra. It's only worth it if you enjoy it.
Grateful Dead Thursday here on Scalzo and Brust. As we get ready for Dead & Company tomorrow at Wrigley Field, myself, Josh Damasio, Ben Brust, all going to be off Scalzo and Brust. They're going to be treated by the boys in Madison, live from the AmFam Championship. Alex Strofe, Jesse Nelson. Who's producing the show?
That's a great question, and Jesse Nelson no longer on the show because when does he ever work? It'll be me and Colin Russo tomorrow filling in for you fellas.
Alex G will be on the show.
Russo's back?
Yeah, boy.
Look at that.
He's back. He's here right now, I think. He's a changed man. Italy does that to you.
Daniel, wait, hold on. Does he have, is he dressing like an Italian now? Does he, pretend like he's all cultured?
No, dude. He's still wearing his Goodwill T-shirts and his rough attempt at a mustache. Still the same guy.
All right.
Great dude, though.
The official landscaping sloth of the Scalzo and Brust family, Daniel chimes in, says, if I've never been to a concert, we're going to this one, be a good first one to go with you guys. I know how to party and have fun. Potentially?
Yeah. I mean, it's a culture shock.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a big step into the deep end, but that's how you want to learn. It's generally how you learn how to swim.
Sometimes they say just dive in.
Yep. Rip and Rona just asked, what did Benny do to get invited to the Dead Show this year? Wasn't he not invited last year? Did we not invite him to Fish last year? Probably didn't.
We probably didn't, but I just think it was because he would have no interest.
Yeah, he wanted on. He has started listening to the Grateful Dead, and he appreciates the music, so he said, hey, we'll make it work for him. Big news in the NFL today with Alex Strofe as your cousin sub in for Ben Brust, Greg Scalzo, Josh DiMaggio. You, the Scalzo and Brust family, call us, text us 800-990 ESPN 800-990-3776. Brewers lost today. Drop one to the Orioles, still took 2 of 3 there on the series. Dalvin Cook being dropped by the Minnesota Vikings. And it seems like this Vikings team is at a really interesting spot where they're trying to not suck, but at the same time bring in a new generation of player, right? Year 2 of a new coach. Justin Jefferson is clearly the offensive star of that team. Moving on from Dalvin Cook, we're not sure what's going to happen to Hunter on the defensive side of the ball. Moved on from Adam Thielen, who's now in Carolina. Like, this does feel a little bit like they're trying to do a rebuild on the fly and see how they can have more of a youth movement, but at the same time with Kirk Cousins at quarterback. So if the Vikings seems like they're more towards the selling role than the buying role, and this Bears team is, I do believe, on the ascent, but they're on the ascent from literally the very bottom of the NFL. They were the worst team in the NFL last year. Then you look at this Lions team, who seems to be the favorite. I don't believe they're going to be better than last year. I think they're due for a step back. Is it possible Brust ends up like eating dog food out of a bowl with his hands behind his back at the end of the year, with this Packers team potentially like winning a 3-way tie at 8-9? Because I'm just getting those. I'm getting that vibe over and over again as I play this season out in my head.
Yeah, no, I think you're right about that. It feels very, what was the division last year? NFC South, that was just bad, and we knew it would be bad, and it feels like that again, but it's the NFC North this year. Minnesota doesn't know what the hell they're doing. They signed Mean Dean Lowry. That's about the only thing of impact they've done in the last 6 months. But they still have Justin Jefferson, of course. Like, their offense is still in a decent position. It's probably objectively better than the Packers' offense, but that's not everything. The Lions, I totally agree with you. I think that's just too much hype. No actual substance from the Lions. I think they're a 6-7, maybe an 8-win team maximum. Green Bay could luck their way into winning this division, and we could luck our way into Ben Brust wearing a collar around his neck on all fours, eating dog food out of Brucey's bowl, which we can all hope and dream for. This division feels wide open, and obviously the biggest question mark in the entire division is still Jordan Love. Is Jordan Love going to be at least serviceable? Is he going to be good? And if he is, this team can win 8, 9, and maybe even 10 games with a not super tough schedule in front of them. So, yeah, I think it's wide open. And even with the Packers and what you and I'm sure Greg would agree is a rebuild, they could still luck their way into a 10-win division win.
The thing that makes me more and more convinced that it's a possibility, like at Potawatomi, the Packers are plus 450 currently to win the NFC North. That implies 18%. But with the way the Vikings are going about their team building, the way the Lions are as a roster, like, that's a Justin Jefferson injury and Jared Goff injury away from like the Packers being right at the top and right in the consideration, and like probably beating those teams pretty handedly if they are, at least somewhat similar to what they were last year in terms of the Packers, just a step down a little bit at quarterback, but improvements otherwise. Like, I've never considered the Packers this year to be possible to win the NFC North, and now Ben has convinced me that that's the case.
The jinx. Look, I still think, right, there's a reason why they're not a favorite. There's a reason why they won't become a favorite. Last year was the Buccaneers that won the NFC South at 8-9, so sub-500 team. Last year, the Packers finished third in the NFC North. Like, we know that the Lions ended up with the better record with them with that last game of the season. Mm-hmm. Vikings were 13 and 4. Vikings won 13 games last year, which is absurd to think about. Another schedule is going to get harder, having won the division last year in terms of the teams that get put on their schedule from not a conference standpoint. But it is possible. Now, what you said, Strophy, I think is really interesting. It does so much of it depend on what Jordan Love is.
Totally.
Colin Cowherd, I think it's still host of The Herd, right? Host of The Herd, had this to say about this Packers team and the potential for them to return back to what they were in the 1980s.
I think we're going into what the Packers were in the 80s, kind of irrelevant. They don't have a great quarterback. It's increasingly a quarterback league. This is not a time when if you had, 10, 15 years ago, great running back and great defense, you could be a dominating team. Those days are over. So I looked this morning. I'm moving to 6-11 with the Green Bay Packers. I was trying to be very positive. I got them at 6 wins this morning. I went to the schedule, and I don't think that's negative.
Ooh.
I'm doing that based on 5 different headlines.
Okay. That Colin Cowherd there, I think he's overreacting a little bit. I don't think that, if you have a mediocre quarterback, you're going to slide to 6 wins. You look up and down the league, right? I mean, last year you had teams.
It's not a big slide, though, Greg. They only won 8 games last year.
It's fair, but I'm saying to be a 6-win team implies that you are bottom, 6-7 team in the NFL. And I don't think that merely having a mediocre quarterback does that, right? You've also seen quarterbacks rise and fall in terms of their level of play. But you look, the Commanders won 8 games last year. The Commanders with Taylor Heineke. We're not asking for this Packers team to win 10 games. The question is, if they win 8 or 9 games, can they win the division? That's sort of the crux of what we're talking about here. And I think they are capable of winning 8 or 9 games. I know that some people want to look at Jordan Love and think that he is going to be garbage. I think he's going to be far closer to a Daniel Jones mediocre type of quarterback than he is a complete and utter bust in a way where you're like, oh my God, we can't win with this guy. Daniel Jones, by the way, last year with 0 wide receivers, won 9 games. And if you want to say, well, he had a great coach, I think we still think Matt LaFleur is a good offensive coach in the NFL, do we not?
No, I'm with you completely. I think he's earned the benefit of the doubt, right? He came into Green Bay, he revitalized Aaron Rodgers' career. I think Rodgers gave him a ton of credit for those back-to-back MVP years in which he won it back in 19 and 20, or 20 and 21 rather, excuse me. But I view this team similarly to how you just explained, the Commanders or the Giants, and that's not a bad thing, right? Those are 2 teams that beat the Packers with Aaron Rodgers last year. I think overall, and picking on one thing Colin Cowherd said there, which was, this is a quarterback-dominated league. It absolutely is. But to say you can't win with a decent quarterback, a solid running game, and a very good defense, which is what it's set up for the Packers to be. They have, 8 or 9 first-round picks on the defensive side of the ball. They have debatably the best 1-2 punch in the backfield, and they have a decent enough the other offensive weapons. We don't really know what the receiver room is, but we think the offensive line will be serviceable. It sounds like, you look at examples around the league. There's been plenty of teams that have gone far. We don't have Super Bowl expectations for the Packers. We want them to get in. We want them to win the division, maybe win a playoff game, but that might be asking too much. But the 49ers haven't had a sexy quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo, a very handsome guy, but actually good at the position. He's just fine. But you look at last year, right? They had the last pick of the draft go, 8-0, 9-0 until he was hurt in the NFC Championship game. So if you just have a decent quarterback that can run the Matt LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan offense, you can easily trick yourself into 8, 9, 10 wins. And I think the Packers are capable of it. But again, it just boils down to, is Jordan Love that guy? Can Jordan Love be Jimmy Garoppolo and you win the division? That's how I view it.
262 chimes in. 800-990-3776, 800-990-ESPN says, the wild card for the Packers is not Love at quarterback. It is LaFleur as a coach without Rodgers, which I think is kind of what you're talking about. Kyle Shanahan, we know, can win with mediocre quarterback play, above average, whatever we want to call it. We don't know if Matt LaFleur can win with that level of quarterback play. If you want to argue, last year that was where Rodgers was at, which I think you can make the argument for. They only won 8 games. If that Rodgers was on the 49ers, I still think the 49ers end up winning 12, 13 games. So I do think there is a lot of attention to be paid in terms of Matt LaFleur. And Matt LaFleur has had 3 years to work with Jordan Love. I still think Jordan Love is going to be average to above average this year. My bigger question is, will we see enough where you can really build around him and buy into him? And that's going to be the big focus for me. But also, yes, we're all rooting for them to win the division, particularly because we want to see Ben Brust with his face into his dog's dog bowl, chowing down on some dog food. Alex Strofe in for Ben Brust. It is Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra. Shout out to Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. You've heard me talk about the amazing work Gina Dell and her entire team at Pella has done for me in the past and will do for me again. They're so good. Joe Franco's out at the house. He's looking at all the windows, taking these measurements. I'm showing him pictures. Can you do this with this? Can you do this in the attic? Can you do this in the kitchen? And he's like, yep, no, we can do that. Yep, no, we can do that. This is a different window than that. You got a paint match with this. They can customize literally anything for your home. The quality, is first rate. I'm telling you, the service is unlike anything I've experienced before on people working on my home. And Gina Della has this thing tuned up to a finely tuned machine. You think Kyle Shanahan's good? You think Bill Belichick is good? Gina Della would walk into the NFL and boom, the first undefeated season since the 1972 Dolphins. That's how she has her team running. Their wood windows and patio doors can be painted, stained, or left bare to complement your unique home decor, and they stand the test of time. It's why Pella confidently offers the best wood warranty in the industry. Bundle and save when you customize your order by August 31st. Again, August 31st. Do not waste any time. PellaWI.com/radio, PellaWI.com/radio, or stop by the Experience Center on the Bell Line in Madison or in Brookfield. 1 or 0 coming up next. It's Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
You're listening to Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
He was a hairy middle schooler. I bet he was a really hairy middle schooler.
You nailed it. I still don't have chest hair, and he had chest hair in 7th grade. Wow. Very strong, very athletic.
Soft chest hair, too. Sorry, continue.
Soft chest hair is in, not soft because he's soft, but soft because he's very beautiful.
The kind you want to run your hands through.
I would. Sorry, you were saying.
I don't remember anymore because now I'm thinking about rubbing my hand through Jimmy Garoppolo's chest hair in 7th grade.
Scalzo and Brust. Available anywhere you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
We do have an accident along 94 eastbound. It is right at the county line in the center lane. Wreaking havoc now. We're delayed all the way back to Gerke's Corners. So that's going to be a long, slow crawl. If you get past that, you are going to see some more delays from about 68th Street through the Stadium Interchange to about 27th. The westbound side slowing down right out of the Marquette all the way to about Hawley Road. Brewer game letting out there. Southbound on 43, hitting the brakes from before Fond du Lac Avenue, right around Locust is where you're seeing the delays kicking in all the way down through the Marquette and over the high-rise bridge. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, clear and comfortable, a low of 53 at the lakefront, 48 inland tomorrow, sunny and beautiful, a high of 76 at the lakefront, 80 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
RJ Schenner has several Toshiba copier printers from James Imaging Systems. IT manager Gabe Colasari.
The reason why for James Imaging is their responsiveness, dedication, knowledge of the product, and they always make sure that the customer is taken care of.
The kind of customer service you'd expect from a 100% Wisconsin-owned and managed office technology company like James Imaging Systems.
We actually have a high-end printing machine on site, so we produce our own catalogs, so we need the support to handle that.
James Imaging Systems. Better document imaging technology, better service.
When we've got a problem, we're able to call in and get it rectified or corrected without any issues.
Gabe, any advice to other local businesses?
Contact James. They'll take care of you.
James Imaging Systems. Reliable document imaging technology, extraordinary local service. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local office technology partner.
Life is short, and if we spend our time suffering with pain and it takes away our joy, that's not a very good way to live.
He's right. It's hard to be happy when you're in constant pain. QC Kinetics patient Chad admits the chronic pain in his knee really robbed his quality of life.
When I was going to the traditional doctor and getting the pain pills, my smile wasn't as big as it usually is. Going to my high school reunion on crutches, it was awful.
But then Chad visited QC Kinetics. He experienced the real power behind natural regenerative treatments. Using healing properties from his own body, QC Kinetics was able to restore and repair damaged tissue, finally giving Chad lasting relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime.
And I'm feeling on top of the world because of QC Kinetics.
Learn how advanced regenerative medicine can help your body heal itself at QC Kinetics. Call now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
The award-winning 1017 The Truth is excited to be back celebrating the 52nd annual Juneteenth celebration in Milwaukee. Make sure you come down on Monday, June 19th, as we will be broadcasting live from the Juneteenth celebration from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Stop by our table to play games, win Truth swag, and say what up to your favorite Truth teammates. The 1017 The Truth celebration of Juneteenth is sponsored by Educators Credit Union, Tayback Law, Molson Coors, and Associated Bank.
Graduation season is just around the corner, and what better way to celebrate than with custom banners and yard signs from Fast Signs of Glendale. Their team of experts can create personalized banners and yard signs that will make your graduate feel extra special on their big day. With their exceptional service and attention to detail, you can trust that your order will be perfect every time. Let Fast Signs of Glendale help you make your graduate's day even more memorable with a custom banner or yard sign. Fast Signs of Glendale. Mention summer 2023 for special graduation pricing.
You're listening to Scalzo and Brust on 94.5 ESPN. Missed any of the show? Find us on Wisconsin On Demand wherever you get your podcasts. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
I can't stay much longer, Linda. The sun is getting high. I can't help you with your trouble. You won't help with mine.
Scalzo and Brust across ESPN Wisconsin, presented by Michelob Ultra. We love Michelob Ultra here. I know Benny's out there on the course enjoying himself right now, probably having had a few Michelob Ultras himself. Alex Strofe is your Cousin Sub of the day. Cousin Subs, Michelob Ultra, there's a common misbelief today that to make it further, you need to push yourself, that you need to give up any joy to continue with your rigid routine, or you could try it another way. Take some time to enjoy life like having a Michelob Ultra with friends, because happiness is essential to living an exceptional life. Michelob Ultra, a refreshing and balanced flavor with only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. Michelob Ultra, it's only worth it if you enjoy it. I did have Cousin Subs for lunch today, so I enjoyed that. Very much looking forward to Mick Ultra after the show as well. So
you live
what
the
a
best
day.
life, Greg.
What a
I'll
day.
tell you what, dude. You have a great life.
I hear
Cousin
that all
Subs
the
for
time.
lunch. Mick Ultra at night. You get to go to Dead & Co. at Wrigley Field. You're going to San Diego next week. Your life ain't half bad, buddy. Good for you. Proud of you.
Trophy. Let's get to some 1 or 0s.
Are you a 1 or a 0? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Are you a yes or a no?
There's no such thing as a gray area. Life is binary. It's just a 1 or a 0.
He's Alex Strofe. I'm Greg Scalzo. We're your contestants for 1 or 0. Josh Damasio is your host. Yes, that's a question. We say 1 for yes, 0 for no. There is no gray area. Joshy, take it away.
In a new study done by the Bradley Corporation, they found that 45% of adults admitted they don't use soap to wash their hands, and they only rinse. 1 or 0. People are gross.
I feel like Strofe does this.
Yeah, you're
yeah, occasionally. Here's my rule of thumb, Greg. I'll tell you. I'll admit it. All right, you called me out. You're right. I'll tell you this. If it's a 1, I'm just rinsing. If it's a 2, I'm going all the way.
Why
I'll
even
use
rinse?
soap then.
Optics?
Just optics, partially. I'm a big hand sanitizer guy, so it's not like I don't clean my hands, but why is that freak behavior?
How are you a
I'm
hand
definitely not the
sanitizer
only
guy
one that does this.
How are you a hand sanitizer guy that doesn't wash his hands?
Because usually when I'm in the bathroom, I'm just like, I want to get out of here, especially if it's a public bathroom. If it's my bathroom, I'll take my sweet time. I'll wash my hands. I'll do whatever. But if I'm like in a public restroom, number 1, they kind of already freak me out. So number 2, I just want to get out. And
That's
I'm
so
not touching
interesting.
anything, right? Like, there's a misconception about when
You are
men
touching something.
go number 1. What am I touching? My belt buckle?
You're touching your wee-wee.
No, I just let it.
What is my
just let it
wee-wee
flow
doing right now?
What do you mean? How do you not? How do you go to the bathroom without holding it?
I've got a good setup, I guess.
But
Would be
you don't-
the
you don't
best
touch-
radio
you don't
appropriate way to
touch it
explain
out?
this.
You don't
No.
touch it at all?
No.
Do you believe this, Josh?
I mean,
am I missing something?
I don't know, because even I'm trying to figure this out because even then you have to touch your boxers or your underwear, which has
boxers.
Okay,
boxers.
So you take the boxers. I'm guessing in this case you're take them all the way down guy. You're not snaking it through the hole, right? So
no, correct.
So
Yeah, no, that's chaotic behavior. But go on. Yeah.
So you're flopping it over, and then you just let it go. Like you're not aiming. You just let things go.
I don't need to. I have impeccable aim.
I am flabbergasted by so much of this. One,
I don't know what to tell you.
When I go to the bathroom in a public restroom, I wash my hands every single time. If I'm at home and I just go number one, I don't wash my hands. I'm willing to admit it. Like in that case, like I'm not in public. It's my own bathroom. Like it's whatever. Like
what I don't understand is if you're going to go through the action of going to the sink and rinsing, why not take the extra half a second to pump the soap? Like, you're
I guess I've never thought about it this way. So it's fair. I don't know why I do it. It's always been subconscious. It's just always happened. I've never thought about, hey, this will only take 10 more seconds.
Ron in the Key
I don't know.
chimes
I just
in
want
and
to get
says-
out of there. I don't like public bathrooms.
Ron in the Key says Strofe is discussing. If he doesn't hold it, it must look like a wee-wee but smaller. Like, how does it just go into the target like that? I'm so confused. Ben from Madison just says it's not that weird, dude. So, I don't know.
He's right.
Maybe
It's
I'm
not.
the weird one.
The fan who caught Reds phenom Ellie De La Cruz's first home run that was hit 460 feet and nearly left the ballpark negotiated for a meet and greet with Cruz, signed baseballs for him and all his friends, signed pictures for those friends as well, a signed bat, and a signed hat as well. 1-0. You would make sure to cut your friends in on the deal for a home run ball.
See, I'm a 0 here, but I respect the hell out of this dude, right? And Josh, you didn't set it up right. It's not like it was him and two buddies at the ballpark. This was a crew of like a dozen of them. It was a ginormous crew rolling deep, and they were like in the Reds clubhouse mucking it up with everybody. I respect the hell out of the move, but no, I just give it back. I don't need signed baseball or.
I'm a
picture or
0
anything.
here. There's no way I give this thing back. There is no way I'm giving that home run ball back.
What does this have to do with you? I guess
he's one of the,
you're happy you caught it.
He's one of the top baseball prospects in the game right now. So, like, if he turns into a Hall of Fame player and you have his first home run that he ever hit, that thing is probably worth 6 figures. And then you're going to just be sitting there like, yeah, I caught that, but I just gave it back because it was because why?
Because it's the right thing to do, Greg. I'm your moral compass today.
Is it the right thing to do?
It's the right thing to do. He wanted it back. If he asked for it back, I'm going to give it to him.
Why do you really think Ellie De La Cruz wanted that ball back?
He definitely did. That's why he signed 800 photos for all these guys that showed up in the clubhouse, all these drunk frat boys that showed up and wanted an autographed baseball and an autographed picture. Clearly, he wanted the ball back.
Do you think he wants it because it just is meaningful for him, or do you think he wants it because he knows that thing's going to be valuable one day if he's good? Because he knows it's going to be valuable. Listen, I would take maybe at this point.
It was his first home run, right?
It was his first home run of his career. I would take maybe.
That's why he wants it.
I'd need at least $35,000.
Wow, I'm cheaper. I start talking money right away, but if you say $10K, I'd probably just part ways.
Look, again, if he's as good as people think he's going to be, it's going to be a very expensive ball.
I'll tell you what.
I hate that we make a business out of this. It's trashy.
Grow
Just
up,
give it back.
Trophy. Grow up.
I'm the one that needs to grow up. You're the one that's saying you're going to hang on to it so you can sell it on eBay in 2038.
You're acting like this is a little league game. Right. Like, what do you mean? Like, oh, I just can't believe there's a business out of this. Baseball has made it their business. They've been printing baseball cards and having autograph signings for 100 years.
I said I can't believe you're making a business out of this.
Course
I didn't say I can't believe everybody's making a business out of this.
If I am that person, it's basically just a packet of so if a bag of $10,000 falls into your lap, Trophy, are you just like, hey, the right thing to do? You turn it in, guy?
Hold on a minute. Now, if they offer money first, of course I'm taking it. But if they're like, hey, he wants the ball and would love to meet you, I'll bring it down to him, maybe snap a photo, call it a day. That's all I need. Moral compass.
I would say, please authenticate this.
High morals.
Yeah. And then I would get it authenticated, and then boop, I'm out.
It's probably easy to get stuff authenticated now with you being on TV. And
They do it on the spot.
Really?
Yeah, you could talk to MLB officials. Yeah. They do it on the spot. The other thing is, like, you don't need to wait until 2038 for him to be a Hall of Famer. If he has a great rookie year this year or has a great year next year, you could probably put that on eBay or on
if he
on
has
the
a
open.
good couple months.
You could probably get $50,000 on that. So, Stroh, you get to meet Ellie De La Cruz, and great, you get a picture with him, or would you rather have $50,000?
Well, obviously $50,000, Greg, but I'm probably drinking 800 Michelob Ultras if I'm at a baseball game, and I'm just going to think, hey, this is a cool memory, cool moment. I'll just give him the ball back. Who gives a damn?
Okay, so, Stroh, put this through your mind. You're walking down the street, and you stumble upon a winner of a lottery ticket. It's worth $50,000.
Yeah, I'm turning it in, no doubt.
You're turning it in and taking the money, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
So why are you giving back a ball for free if what happened literally to this kid is a lottery ticket landed in his lap?
Yeah, I guess maybe I'm just not going to view it that way. I'm going to view it like this kid, or he's like, yeah, just give me an autographed baseball, which again isn't my jam, but I don't know. I didn't view it as a $50,000 lottery ticket. I wish I was at the game with you guys because you'd talk me into it. You guys would bully me into saying, hey man, just get it authenticated, sell it on eBay, you're going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. I should go to a baseball game with you fellas. This, if I wasn't with you, I would have never thought about it this way. You guys are brilliant.
I'm flabbergasted the kid didn't take money for it and just was like, yeah, sign some stuff.
He appears to be either in high school or in college, so like it's surprising not to be like, yeah, I want money.
Also, like the idea that people are like, well, you got to give it back. Like, why? Like, why? Great, he hit his home run. He can go back and watch the highlight. Why does he need the ball?
He can buy it from me.
I caught the damn ball.
All right.
And yes,
fair enough.
He's worth a lot of money.
Hey, capitalism is what makes the world go round, man. I guess I understand where the head's at, rather, but I don't know, man. I would never feel good about that. I would never feel good about it. It's his first home run. It's sentimental. You made the point, Greg, that he's getting this ball back and going to sell it. He's not going to sell it. It's his first MLB home run. He's not selling that thing.
You have athletes who sell their Super Bowl rings, who sell every piece of memorabilia that they've ever acquired. It's a commonplace now. You have singers, artists who literally sell the rights to all of their music. Hell, the PGA just sold the sport of golf to Saudi Arabia. Like, this is how the world works, Trophy. You got to take advantage of it when it comes.
I don't like it, but you're right. You're right. I'll tell you this. The other week or last week during Game 1 of the NBA Finals, Chipotle was trying to give out free burritos, and you'd text a code to a number, and if you were one of 300, the first 300 to win, you'd get a code for a free burrito. Somebody tweeted a link or like a screenshot that they had won, and I tried to steal their code. So maybe I'm not as morally high ground as I make it sound like. I just wanted a free burrito, man.
So you'll pull off a heist
for a free burrito.
Yeah.
But when you have something that's worth 5 figures, you're willing to give it back for free?
Dollar bills landed in your lap too much.
It's the anomaly of my brain, man. Doesn't really work most of the time.
Daniel chimes in and says, Strofe is the reason the floor is really wet right underneath the urinal. I've always wondered about that.
I always thought it was
about how the floor gets wet? Splash, yeah.
But like when it's like some urinals are like, what's going on?
Somebody's clearly just not going in it.
Somebody's either A, really intoxicated, or B, just really stupid. Or C, both.
Or C, both. That could be that as well. We'll do a quick check-in on Ben Brust, where he's at the Pro-Am at the AmFam Championship. Plus, turn our attention back to the Packers, what the expectations are as the Vikings look like they're selling more than buying. Could this Packers team actually win the division with 8 wins? Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
You're listening to Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
He has absolutely
He has been recreated.
He's been this guy forever.
He stopped trying to roll out of the pocket. He plays within the system, and he's been
such hogwash.
It's not hogwash.
Right now.
It is not hogwash.
It is such hogwash right now.
It is not hogwash. It is 100% not hogwash.
Scalzo and Brust. Available anywhere you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Kevin Wright here from Mentality Men's Health. We hear stories every day in our clinics that what used to work for guys doesn't anymore. Increase cardio, cut out certain food. Nothing stops the changes in their bodies, especially the weight. The fact is, years of decreasing testosterone has packed on the belly fat that won't go away. We've introduced a medication, semaglutide, that helps drop 15% of the body weight on average while preserving testosterone. Join the over 20,000 Mentality clients and jumpstart your results. In Milwaukee, go to lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank. And you know, there's more to being a local Wisconsin bank than perfectly pronouncing Oconomowoc or Waukesha. Or is it Waukesha? But rest assured, at Great Midwest Bank, we understand the local community and economy because we're a part of it. At GMB, we provide customized lending products that others just can't offer. Experience a hometown banking difference. Head to greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
Football season is just around the corner, and Ticket King is here to get you tickets to the green and gold game of your choice. As Wisconsin's largest and most trusted ticket broker, Ticket King has access to all the big games and concerts. Ticket King is your one-stop shop for great seats to any event. You're paying the lowest prices when you order tickets from theticketking.com. Purchase game tickets to witness the start of a new era in Green Bay this fall. Theticketking.com. It's not sold out until the King is sold out. Theticketking.com.
Even when you think you know what's going on.
We know. I don't have a problem paying for someone else. I just, there's no way. I could get a new weed whacker or a
You can never be too sure.
That's $60
Wait, that's
for parking.
the going rate for blowers these days?
A souped up one. Sometimes more. It depends on what you're asking for. Remember what you get.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN. And available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Hey, this is Bo stepping in for Ridgetop Larry, here to tell you about Ridgetop Exterior's most affordable payment options, including no interest and low interest financing. For your free estimate, visit ridgetopexteriors.com. Roofing, siding, windows, and doors, visit ridgetopexteriors.com.
Art, sound, and sensory overload. Tool 2023 North American Tour. November 1st, Fiserv Forum. Experience the sound and vision of Tool. Tickets on sale this Friday, 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com. Tool, brought to you by Jan.
Hey, you're on summer vacation.
Let's go to the castle!
Of course, no road trips without stopping at Mars Cheese Castle.
Grandma loves that cheese!
And your uncle always wants that beer you can't get outside of Wisconsin.
Right off I-94 in Kenosha, Mars Cheese Castle is a must-stop for any road trip. Along with over 1,000 cheeses, Mars has a meat market, bakery, bar, and restaurant. Spreads, curds, sausages, Kringles. Mars Cheese Castle is also the perfect lunch stop on your way out of town. Make today your day to go to Mars. Exit 340 in Kenosha.
Yeah, they're football guys, but they don't shy away from the big topics of the day.
We won a championship, and my dad brought me 8 chips to eat on the drive because he wouldn't stop for a snack.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of truth in that. Just imagine if we lost. He wouldn't even gotten those chips.
Weekdays 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Every child deserves a safe, loving, and permanent home. Help the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption find families for children who've lingered in foster care the longest. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
It's Scalzo and Brust on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Michelob Ultra. It's only worth it if you enjoy it.
Sugar magnolia, blossoms blooming, that's all empty, I don't care. Something baby down by the river, and a cup of soup, here you are. Sweet blossom, come on, under the willow, you can have high times.
A Grateful Dead Thursday on the eve of our Grateful Dead show. Dead and Company tomorrow night. You're going to get myself, Josh DiMaggio, Ben Brust, all in attendance. And Aaron Rodgers just put out a tweet saying, "Welcome to the league, Rooks." Football emoji, heart emoji. Aaron Rodgers loves young players. I don't know what everyone's been talking about. He's just one of the guys.
In that video that he's mentioning, he is talking to Sean Clifford, strangely enough.
Yeah.
The other draft picks are like high draft picks, and then it's Sean Clifford, and he says, "How's my locker?"
Love
Bingo,
that.
Joshy. What I was about to bring up. No, I don't. He's annoying. I'm sick
You're
of
turning
Rodgers.
out
I was a
Rodgers?
Rodgers guy. I've officially turned.
Welcome.
I'm sick of him. I'm just over it. Thank you, Joshy. I'm just over it, right? Like, I wish him all the happiness and success, except don't win a Super Bowl in New York. Do what you got to do, man.
Sounds like a guy who's
But
not
I'm over
over it. You sound like a guy who's not. You sound like a guy who wants to be over it, but is not over it.
Yeah, that's probably a better explanation of where I'm at. I mean, we can be honest with each other, right?
Well,
yeah, like, look, Greg, I love winning, right? I'm a big winner. I like to win. And Aaron Rodgers did a hell of a lot of that over the course of the last 15 years. And I am operating under the fear that I don't think the Packers are going to do a whole lot of that this year, right? I think the ceiling is a good year because, as we talked about a bit earlier, the division's open. I mean, Minnesota's selling in the middle of June for some reason, cutting Dalvin Cook earlier today. Detroit, I think, is overhyped, and Chicago is going to be the basement dweller again. So I view this team able to win the division, but I fear that Jordan Love's just going to be a guy that takes too long for him to figure it out, and they're going to win 6 games, and that's it. And so that's why I'm not over it, because if Aaron Rodgers is here this year, I think they can easily win this division.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's an interesting juxtaposition because we talk about Aaron Rodgers and we talk about the lack of quality teams in the NFC North. Aaron Rodgers is in the AFC East, which is expected to be, doesn't mean it will be, but expected to be probably the best division in the NFL, to the point where the biggest Aaron Rodgers hater in the national media, of which there's many, Joshy, Billy Barnwell, Billy on Get Up, was talking about how he thinks the Jets could potentially finish last.
They were in last place last year. It's not like this is that insane of a thought, and I'll point this out as well. They were 7-10 last year. When they had to play the opposing team's starting quarterback, or their primary quarterback, I should say, they were 2-8. When they were playing the backups, when they were playing Trubisky, when they were playing the third stringers, they were 5-2. This is not a team that was as close to winning a Super Bowl as I think they have put out there. Now, they'll be better with Aaron Rodgers, but I think they're just not as good of a team as we're sort of suggesting.
So he doesn't think it's crazy to think the Jets finish last in the AFC East. However, you talk about Aaron Rodgers as a winner and how much winning he's done. I'm interested, like, if the Jets, as currently constructed, were a team in the NFC North, I think they would be the favorite to win that division.
Yeah.
Do you think they would win the NFC North based on everything we talked about?
Absolutely, Greg. I don't view any team in the NFC North as very good. I view the Jets as good. I wouldn't go as far to say very good yet. But look, you plug Aaron Rodgers into a team that was already, I mean, they dominated the Packers at Lambeau Field last year. We all remember that one, right? I was at that game. It was not pretty. And this offense is only going to get better. They had the former Badger at center, Joe Tippmann. They bring back Breece Hall, who had an injury, and he was probably the highest of hyped running backs, rookie running backs, at least a year ago. You have a really solid offensive core, much better weapons than Jordan Love is dealing with in Green Bay, and Garrett Wilson, Corey Davis, Alan Lazard's there, our boy Randall Cobb is there too. I just think that offense is set up really good, and that defense is really good. I mean, they've invested so much in the defensive side of the ball. I have a really hard time believing the Jets would take last place in the AFC East, which I agree with you. I do view it as the best division in football, but we were talking in the break, Greg, and I'll repeat it here. The AFC East is comparable to what we looked at the AFC West as a year ago, right? Raiders, Chiefs, who am I forgetting? Broncos and Chargers, right? We viewed that division last year as by far going into the season the best division in football, and it actually turned out to be pretty poo-poo. And I think the AFC East may have the makings of that again. Miami's a question mark because Tua can never stay healthy. And if he does, I think they'll be a good team, but it's just hard to imagine that Tua is going to play all 17 games. The Bills are obviously the favorite, rightfully so. I don't know anything about the Patriots. I don't believe in Mac Jones. I believe in Bill Belichick, but I don't believe in Mac Jones. I think he's lost that locker room. So I think the Patriots are easy to slot in at fourth, and then you could figure out who takes second and third between the Dolphins and the Jets. But yeah, I think all three of those teams, Dolphins, Jets, and Bills, would easily win the NFC North. I think it's one of the worst divisions in football.
It seems to be one of the worst divisions in football. That is for sure. 800-990-ESPN, 800-990-3776. Should we take Jake now, or should we go to
You
him?
can wait 2 minutes.
All right, well, we'll be back in 2 minutes to talk with you, the Scalzo and Brust family, 800-990-3776. Would this Packers team, would the Jets win the NFC North if they were in this division? It is Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
We have a string of accidents affecting your ride right now. First of all, 94 eastbound, right about at the county line. The two right lanes are blocked with this accident, and that's got some massive delays all the way back through the Gerkes Corners area. Westbound 94 has an accident at just west of Highway 83 with the right lane blocked. That's going to be slowing things down through there. And also one on 894 southbound at Beloit Road off on the right shoulder. It's going to be tying things up through there, so giving yourself that extra time would be a good idea. Traffic is brought to you by Evans Transportation in Brookfield, where they provide customized logistics solutions to keep you and your business moving forward. A check of the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, clear and comfortable, a low of 53 at the lake, 48 inland. Tomorrow, sunny and beautiful, a high of 76 at the lake, 80 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Hear that? That's the sound of people taking Chicagoland's newest and best casino out for a spin. Only at the Temporary by American Place. Try your hand at over 20 table games. Give hundreds of new slots a whirl. There's restaurants, bars, and much more. You want action? Well, today's your lucky day at the Temporary by American Place. Now open.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
The award-winning 1017 The Truth is excited to be back celebrating the 52nd annual Juneteenth celebration in Milwaukee. Make sure you come down on Monday, June 19th, as we will be broadcasting live from the Juneteenth celebration from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Stop by our table to play games, win Truth swag, and say what up to your favorite Truth teammates. The 1017 The Truth celebration of Juneteenth is sponsored by Educators Credit Union, Tayback Law, Molson Coors, and Associated Bank.
Hey, this is Gabe Neitzel. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
For your sports talk fix every day from 4 to 6, it's Scalzo and Brust. For your sports talk fix every day from 4 to 6, it's Scalzo and Brust. For your sports talk fix every day from 4 to 6, it's Scalzo and Brust. For your sports talk fix every day from 4 to 6, it's Scalzo and Brust.
Live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue.
It's a party, baby.
This is Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
It's a party, baby.
On 94.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
It's a party, baby. Woo! It's a party, baby.
Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra. No Ben Brust today. He is currently at the AmFam Pro-Am for the AmFam Championship right now. Quick update from Benny. He is 6 under through 7, says slow pace, but in the race, they need a birdie on 8 since they're getting a stroke. Morning Group 1 at 18 under. So, quick update from Ben. Benny and I did win the Pro-Am at the AmFam Championship a few years back. Electric win. It's a shortened round because of weather. We only played 9. Think that helped us out a little bit, but we did not take a single hole. We didn't take a single hole from the pro. So it was all work done with, like, it's as if we had 4 guys playing without having the pro there. Give me a cool at least.
That's cool. So you told that story before. So this pro just stunk for you guys?
Yeah,
doesn't that defeat the purpose?
He was. I wouldn't even say he's a nice guy. He was a solid guy, but he wasn't like a.
I wouldn't even say he's a nice guy.
He was
okay.
He was a pro who didn't go professional until he got to the Champions Tour. So he was like a business owner who sold his business in his 40s, played a ton of golf, and then was able to win some Champions Tour events. And it was kind of rainy, and I'm sure he's a nice guy. It was rainy. I don't think him or the caddy really wanted to be out there the day before they're going into this tournament, and yeah, he did not play well. I played out of my mind, and I'm a high handicap. Another guy we were with played out of his mind. He was a high handicap. We hammed and egged it and ended up winning that Pro-Am that year. Cam from Waukesha thinks the AFC South is the worst division in football. I mean, the NFC South's worse than the AFC South. The AFC South at least has the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think the Titans could be okay. The NFC South, you're looking at probably the Saints as the betting favorite to win that division.
No doubt.
So,
no doubt. Absolutely. Yeah, with Derek Carr, for sure.
Yeah, that kind of stinks, too. 800-990-ESPN, 800-990-3776. Would the Jets win the NFC North if they were in that division with the other four teams? 800-990-ESPN. We'll open up the phone lines. We'll start with Jake in Milwaukee. Jake, welcome to Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra. What do you got?
I agree. I think the Jets would win the division if they were in the NFC North because I think Aaron Rodgers this year, I personally believe he's going to have a bounce-back year and tear it up this year for the Jets. So I think if they were in the NFC North, they would win the division.
All right. I tend to agree. Anything else, Jake? Nope, he's good. I think they'd have to be the betting favorite. Like Rodgers, and I do tend to agree with Jake. I think he's due for a bounce back year. I don't think he plays as badly as he did last year. And he's going to be the best quarterback in the division. And I think that defense would be the best defense in the division. So I don't know how they wouldn't be the favorite in that spot.
So, I'm with you. Are we tempering expectations on the Packers defense this year? Because I remember last year we were all going bananas over this defense, right? I remember Mina Kimes, we played that audio all the time where she thought they would be a top 3 defense. Everybody nationally was predicting them to be a top 5 defense. And then we all came to the realization that Joe Barry is still the defensive coordinator. So what are the expectations on this Packers defense this year? Because the offense, rightfully so, can't be very high. A bunch of inexperienced and rookie wide receivers and tight ends. The offensive line, especially the right side of the line, is questionable. You've got a good backfield, but the biggest question mark in the entire division is the quarterback. But when you look at the Packers defense, Greg, are we tempering the expectations, or should they be sky high like they were a year ago? Because a lot of those guys like Quay Walker, who I know you and I agree will have a huge year this year for the Packers, are the expectations that this should be at least a top 10 defense?
No, there's no way the expectations could be that this team is a top 10 defense. And I think the reason
What changed then? What changed?
We got to see them last year. And even if Quay Walker develops into the guy that we both think he will be, which is a major disruptor, you're still missing your top pass rusher in Rashawn Gary. So, you have to account for that. With him taking, not being on the field, I do think Quay is going to be put in a position to rush the passer more. We'll see what happens with Lucas Van Ness. But, is Kenny Clark going to return to, a dominant force in the middle? Maybe. Jair Alexander, does he return to elite-level quarterback? Maybe. What does that safety position look like? Is Eric Stokes good or not? Was that just a sophomore slump? I think there's enough question marks, and I do think the lack of confidence in Joe Barry to be able to put the pieces together in the right place is something that you have to consider. That defense benefited a lot towards the back end of last year from turnovers. And if you're a turnover-dependent defense, sure, you have the ability to be, the 8th-ranked defense. You also have the ability to be, the 21st-ranked defense. So, I think that, and so much of that isn't, is out of your control. But I think they're going to benefit because the schedule is soft, and I think you're not playing that many great offenses, especially early on in the year.
Yeah, no, I don't understand not having excitement about this defense anymore. And your point about Gary is fair. He's set to miss probably at least the first 4 weeks, I would imagine, on the PUP list, coming back from that ACL injury. You mentioned Eric Stokes. He's got a Liz Frank injury. I'm not a doctor, but that doesn't sound good. So he might not be back for a lot of the year, and the safety position is really not pretty at all. But the rest of them, right, they've got a dude nicknamed Hercules on that defense now in Lucas Van Ness, who you brought up. I still think the expectation should be high for this defense. I'm not saying they'll be the best defense in the league because clearly they're just not going to be, especially with Joe Barry as the coordinator. But I think top 10 and having an expectation of a top 10 defense is completely fair. Now, you just hope Jordan Love doesn't put them in a position in a lot of these games with a soft schedule that they're on the field a ton and that ranking drops. But I think with all the first-round picks, all the investment that's gone into this Packers defense, they should at least put them and keep them in a position in many games that it's winnable. And that's my hope. Top 10 defense, and it can be number 10. I'm fine with that. Just keep them in a position where they're not allowing 30-point games game after game after game, because Jordan Love won't have the ability to do that in year one as a starter, put up 30-plus points.
Yeah, they're going to need that defense to step up. And the other thing is, like, we never talk about it, but special teams. Are they actually going to be better in special teams? Rich Bisaccia had this team take a step forward, but when you've got a young quarterback and you're looking at one-score games and sort of the margin of error being smaller, it matters that much more. Whereas when Rodgers was like, am I going to win 14 games, 13 games, or 12 games as we win the division this year? You know, it didn't seem as important for special teams to be a difference maker. It felt more like, hey, we just can't mess up on special teams. This year it feels like that needs to be a plus in order for this team to ultimately force Ben Brust to eat dog food by winning the NFC North. Do want to give a shout out to Smart Spaces. Smart Spaces helps your company's space become smarter, technologically integrated, and able to perform beautifully across all virtual meeting environments. It's who we used here at our build out at the Avenue at the 3rd Street Market Hall for our GKB Milwaukee offices. It's a virtual world. Like, you have to navigate that as a company. And, you know, in my world, being able to walk from room to room and just push one button and be immediately connected via video and audio and not have to worry about individual computers and can we both fit on this screen? You've got mics in your office seamlessly integrated. Like, they are interior integrators for that technology. They integrate it seamlessly into your office space so that it reflects your overall brand position and your culture. Smart Spaces allows that dream to become a reality. They get you the right technology for the right reasons with a listen-first culture. They learn your business's needs and provide seamless solutions for your office. It's what they did and continue to do for us. Check out how they can help improve your business today. SmartSpacesWI.com. That's SmartSpacesWI.com. We need caller 8 and caller 10. Caller 8 and caller 10. 800-990-ESPN, 800-990-3776. Over under par coming up next on Scalzo and Brust. Caller number 8, Josh DiMaggio, is a category. We don't know what it is. He's applied an over-under line. We don't know what that is. For the amount of correct answers that Strophy and I will get out of 10 guesses within 3 minutes. Caller 8, you say over or under, depending on how much you believe in us. Caller 10, you're stuck on the other side. Winner wins 4 passes to the beautiful Wild Rock Golf Course there in the Wisconsin Dells. Again, caller 8, caller 10, over under par, 800-990-ESPN, 800-990-3776. Coming up next, it's Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
You're listening to Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
When would I have learned that? I didn't take anatomy.
I mean, you probably would have learned it just in basic biology.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Biology I wasn't good at.
General curiosity.
Why would I have general curiosity?
Didn't you have a knee injury in high school?
No, I broke my ankle, tibia.
Why would I have general curiosity?
Scalzo and Brust, available anywhere you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
We have a string of accidents affecting your ride right now. First of all, 94 eastbound, right about at the county line. The 2 right lanes are blocked with this accident, and that's got some massive delays all the way back through the Gerkes Corners area. Westbound 94 has an accident at just west of Highway 83 with the right lane blocked. That's going to be slowing things down through there. And also one on 894 southbound at Beloit Road off on the right shoulder. It's going to be tying things up through there, so giving yourself that extra time would be a good idea. Traffic is brought to you by Evans Transportation in Brookfield, where they provide customized logistics solutions to keep you and your business moving forward. A check of the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, clear and comfortable, a low of 53 at the lake, 48 inland. Tomorrow, sunny and beautiful, a high of 76 at the lake, 80 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Greg Scalzo for Smart Spaces. How can Smart Spaces transform your business?
The technology frustrations we hear about, hands down, ease of use.
We take that complexity out of it and keep it down to the bare minimum of what they need and what they use.
Our goal is to lend a level of simplicity that any knowledge level can walk into that room and at a glance know exactly how to turn that room on and utilize all of its features.
Let Smart Spaces transform your business today. Visit smartspaceswi.com.
Life's better with an auto policy from American Family Insurance. No matter what dreams you're driving towards. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto coverage at the right price. You'll also save up to 23% when you bundle auto with home. American Family Insurance. Get a quote, find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Seriously injured? Call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Football guy.
I don't care how irritated you are that Jesse did that. The fact that it led to your imitation of me is more than sufficient payoff.
Football guy.
It's you.
Coming at it from different views.
Girls! I didn't know that I did that, but I guess I do.
Go to the grocery store. We'll stop at Fleet Farm.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Weekdays 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN. And available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
At Evans Transportation, they love the sounds of Milwaukee baseball. Bats cracking, crowds cheering, brats grilling. And Evans is a big fan of manufacturing runs, both on the diamond and in supply chain management. When manufacturers have accounting, shipping, and tracking needs, they come to Evans. Because just like in baseball, teams who know how to manufacture runs have the best chance of long-term success. Evans in Delafield supports Milwaukee's baseball team. Find them at evanstrans.com.
It's the road trip edition of On the Tee this weekend. Stephen Watson brings all the sights and sounds from University Ridge Golf Course in Madison on a Saturday afternoon of On the Tee, live from the American Family Insurance Championship.
Golf fans everywhere, right? To see somebody have so much class, charisma, and then the ability to turn it to another level.
It's On the Tee, presented by Wisconsin Golf Trips at the AmFam Championship, Saturday from 10 to noon, right here on 94.5 ESPN.
If you are among the 6 million Americans living with Alzheimer's or care for someone with Alzheimer's or dementia, there is free help and support available 24/7. Visit alz.org or call 800-272-3900.
You're listening to Scalzo and Brust on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Michelob Ultra. It's only worth it if you enjoy it.
A very fitting Grateful Dead Thursday here on Scalzo and Brust. Friday for Josh DiMaggio, myself. Saturday for Ben Brust. He's off. Alex Strofe, your cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra. All three of us going to a Dead Show tomorrow in Chicago. You're going to get our guy Alex Strofe, Colin Rousseau.
I like how you said that. Yeah, that was good.
And our guy, Alex G, tomorrow, live from the AmFam Championship. But it is Thursday. It's time to play Over Under, presented by Wild Rock.
Will the guys hit the under, or will they tap dance on Joshy's grave? It's time for Over Under Par on Scalzo and Brust. Presented by Wild Rock Golf Club. Now open for the 2023 season. Go to wildrockgolf.com and make a tee time today.
Every week we play over and under. Here's how it works. Josh DiMaggio has a category. We don't know what it is. He's applied an over-under line to the amount of correct answers he thinks Strophe and I will get out of 10 guesses. We're not sure. Within 3 minutes, we're not sure what that is either. Joshy, did you take into account Strophe in for Brust when you were creating this line?
Yes, I dropped it a number.
Okay.
Oh, whoa.
Ooh. Caller number 8.
What is this?
Caller number 8, Gonzalo in Milwaukee.
Gonzalo. Sorry, misspelling.
Gonzalo in Milwaukee believes in us. He says, you know what? I'm glad Joshy dropped a 1 because I'm taking the over on Strophy and Scals. I believe in the boys. Jeff and Madison stuck on the other side. He's got the under. Caller number 10. Winner wins themselves a 4-pack to the beautiful Wild Rock Golf Course. Joshy, what do we have this week?
Today, I am looking for the last 10 people to appear on the Madden cover prior to Josh Allen.
Ooh. Oh, God.
The over-under is
All right.
6.5.
I feel like you,
I feel good.
Strophy, are going to be a pro at this.
Yeah, that was the.
Yeah, I feel okay.
That was the joke I was telling because I would have gone lower if it was just you and Ben.
6.5.
So now you're backtracking because I really thought for a second there, Josh, you were telling me you don't believe in me.
No, it does not include everyone except Josh Allen.
Okay.
Thought you were putting a chip on my shoulder.
I'm going to play the Ben Brust roll here, Strophy. I'm going to try to get the ones that I know for sure off the top of my head.
I'm starting the clock in 3, 2, 1.
All right, go ahead.
Madden for sure. I know he was on a cover.
Yep, he was last year. Go ahead.
Brady for sure. I know he was on a cover.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mahomes, I know for sure was on a cover.
You're correct. Go ahead.
What do you think, Strophy?
That it? Well, I've got a couple that I know for a fact. So you want me to start rattling them off?
Yeah.
All right, Lamar Jackson, final answer. Let's go Antonio Brown, final answer.
Really? Steelers Antonio Brown?
Yes. Steelers Antonio Brown was on a cover.
Wow.
Now, I got to do some math here in my head, Greg, because this would be 2023 through
Gronk on a cover?
Gronk is correct. Yes, Gronk, final answer. All right, we need one more. We've got 6.
It's 13.
So we can take our time here. So I think the Madden 25 edition was actually Madden 14. So I think Barry Sanders might be an answer here, Greg, but I think we should hold off for the time being because we got 2 minutes, according to the voice there.
So what else do you like?
So 15, 16, 17, I think is what we're missing here. Brady might have been 17. Let's just think of good quarterbacks for a moment because we got time. We only need one more.
Is there always a quarterback, though? I feel like you named all
No, it's not always,
but
there's been a lot recently, if I'm not mistaken. So just I'm thinking around the league. Was Peyton Manning on one in the last 10 years? I don't think so. Was Roethlisberger? No. All right, you just want to go with Barry Sanders? We got. What
about Odell?
Time to waste.
Wasn't Odell on a cover?
Odell was on a cover. I mean, you just got the win right there, Greg. Great job. It's Odell Beckham Jr. Final answer.
What, Josh?
Yeah. And then can we go ahead and do Barry Sanders as a final answer?
Oh,
Okay.
look at you.
That was
Nice.
the year they had 2 people on the cover, but 2 separate covers. They had a Barry Sanders.
So are you counting both of them?
Yeah, I counted last 10 people.
1
so
minute.
both of them counted, but you guys got it. The last 2 you had, one's a defensive player.
I mean, I'm not going
Oh, was
Patrick
was
Willis?
Von Miller or Aaron Donald?
Nope.
No, he wasn't on one. I don't know, the defensive player.
Frank Zombo.
Just a bit outside.
Okay.
Richard Sherman in
Frank
2015.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't have gotten that one.
And then the other running back that was on the Barry Sanders cover was Adrian Peterson.
That's who it was. That's right. That wasn't bad. Bad line by Joshy, per usual.
Great job by you, Strophy. I don't know if it was a bad line because I don't know what else we would have gotten out of that. I don't know how he pulled Odell. I obviously know like the Gronk and Brady stick out to me. I remembered Madden for sure. I just assumed Mahomes had to be on one of these years.
He was on twice, actually.
Odell, I just feel like I remember. You know, like I could picture it in my head.
But wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a superstar for a minute. Go ahead,
correct me
Joshy.
if I'm wrong. He was like without a helmet on it. Like I believe they're showing off his hair.
Yeah, and he was kind of like yelling into it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that was the persona of Odell, right? It was the one hand catch, and then he just became an overnight phenomenon. And now is he with a team right now?
It's a Raven.
Odell?
Raven.
That's right. He signed with the Ravens. I forgot about that. Interesting.
Rashad
Bateman. Yeah. All right. Nice job, Greg.
Bateman, Odell Beckham Jr., Zay Flowers, I believe.
And, Zay Flowers from Boston College.
A brand new
right?
contract for Lamar Jackson. So We'll see how that works in their favor. Congratulations to Gonzalo in Milwaukee for believing in the Scalzo Trophy team here. You win 4 passes to the beautiful Wild Rock Golf Course there in the Wisconsin Dells. Do want to give a shout out to American Family Insurance, amfam.com to find your local American Family Insurance agent. Just got a call from my agent's office a couple days ago in response to a couple questions. We worked some things out. It was great. Like, I know who they are. They know who I am. We chop it up a little bit. I'm like a very pleasant phone guy when I'm talking to people that I like from a service standpoint. I don't know about you guys. I'm usually very pleasant. I like the pleasantries, how are things going, the whole deal. But it's not just the pleasantries and the experience that AmFam offers. It's that I know I have a person to ask a question, a team to ask questions to when I have questions that need to be answered. And when you're in the insurance world, that's important, especially if you're a homeowner, right, Strophy? You obviously have car insurance for your car. I had mine with American Family when it was time for us to buy a house. It was no brainer to work with our agent on homeowners insurance. And I thought it was just like, hey, it's going to be good because when we had to submit a claim for car insurance, I didn't have to call that nameless, faceless 800 number and like have the reference number written down and call back, talk to 12 different people. You just worked with one person and you could ask them questions and you trusted them and you knew them. And it was the same experience when buying a home and choosing our home insurance. They do have an amazing digital home quoting tool that makes choosing insurance simple. Special coverages to protect you from the unexpected, equipment breakdown coverage, all sorts of things that you can include in your policy. You're going to get a policy specifically for you, especially if you're getting ready to be a first-time homeowner. You are a first-time homeowner. They've got discounts for you, like a renovated home discount, a new home discount. Plus, when you protect both your home and auto with American Family, you can save up to 28%. So again, amfam.com to find your local American Family Insurance agent. Strophy in for Ben Brust today. We'll get another update on Brust. He's going to finish at like 8 o'clock. My concern, Josh, is what's going to happen is he's going to get back to Milwaukee at like after 10, and tomorrow he's going to wake up and he's going to have to deal with the dogs, and we're going to get like all the Ben juju tomorrow, and he's going to be tired during the concert. Like, we need good, full-throated Ben Brust tomorrow.
Can I be honest here?
Yeah.
No matter what mood Ben's in, it's not going to ruin my concert.
It won't ruin my concert.
Oh, yeah, Joshy.
But I think like we both want Ben to have a good experience.
I do, but if he starts having even a sniff of bad time, I'm just going to pretend he's not there.
Josh does have a switch like that to be able to turn it off. We go pole dancing next. That's Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
You're listening to Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
I like Goody and Rogers taking subliminal shots at each other. This article was like, Joshy saw me. I was reading it, and I was like, I don't read. Look, I don't read, but I was into this.
Scalzo and Brust, available anywhere you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
We've got a bit of a nightmare scenario happening right now. Westbound 94 is closed at Highway 83 for a crash. Your best bet would be to exit before you get to that point. Head to Highway 18 and use that to get to Sawyer Road. Get on at that point. The delay is stretching all the way back to Meadowbrook Road, almost reaching back to Highway 16. Keep that in mind. Also, an accident 94 eastbound with the 2 right lanes blocked right at the Milwaukee-Waukesha County line. Delays coming in from well before the Gerke's Corners area. As a matter of fact, Highway F is where I'm seeing delays start. Northbound 41, an accident just north of the Zoo interchange on the right. Another one on 894 southbound at about Beloit Road. North and southbound on 43, just brutal right through the Marquette interchange. So factor that in. Give yourself tons of extra time. And check in the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, clear and comfortable, a low of 53 at the lake, 48 inland. Tomorrow, sunny and beautiful, a high of 76 at the lake, 80 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Woo! I am thirsty today. Definitely going to need a cold one. There's the one. We're back again with 21st Amendment's V Failing to tell us what's so great about the Brew Free or Die Blood Orange IPA and what separates it from other summer IPAs.
We love our Brew Free or Die Blood Orange IPA. It's one of those ones that, if you're dipping your toes into an IPA, this is the perfect starter IPA for you. We use fruit in our beer, and we pride ourselves on using real fruit. Another one, this one clocks in at 7%, and we use real blood oranges in this one, and you can taste it. It's not a punch of blood orange, but it's a nice, refreshing blood orange mood with that nice hoppy flavoring finish.
Thanks again to V for joining me to talk about 21st Amendment Brewing. I think we're all ready for some summer drinking, so if it's the Hell or High Watermelon or Brew Free or Die Blood Orange, remember, the fridge better be stocked.
Show podcasts, team-centric feeds, and listening live whenever, wherever. All of that in the palm of your hand. The Wisconsin On Demand app, available in the Apple or Android App Store.
RJ Schenner has several Toshiba copier printers from James Imaging Systems. IT manager Gabe Colasari.
The reason why for James Imaging is their responsiveness, dedication, knowledge of the product, and they always make sure that the customer is taken care of.
The kind of customer service you'd expect from a 100% Wisconsin-owned and managed office technology company like James Imaging Systems.
We actually have a high-end printing machine on site, so we produce our own catalogs, so we need the support to handle that.
James Imaging Systems. Better document imaging technology, better service.
When we've got a problem, we're able to call in and get it rectified or corrected without any issues.
Gabe, any advice to other local businesses?
Contact James. they'll take care of you.
James Imaging Systems. Reliable document imaging technology. Extraordinary local service. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local office technology partner.
It's about that time of year when we realize we took a little too much time off our golf game. Oops.
Hey!
4!
Mike, anyone who's ever golfed with you knows that swing is unfixable. But hey, we can fix windows.
Oh, and while we're at it, maybe we can build out a golf simulator in your rec room so you don't have that problem again next spring.
It's Mike and Michelle from PCI. Kitchens, baths, additions, and more. Visit PCI today. Online at professionalconstructioninc.com.
It's Scalzo and Brust on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Michelob Ultra. It's only worth it if you enjoy it.
Got no school black hair. The line she cleaned old Samson's mind. When first she saw this girl, it took his mind. The line she climbed up on old Samson's knee. Said, tell me what else you got.
Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Joshy, we're going to be enjoying some Michelob Ultras over the next 72 hours, that's for sure. We are off tomorrow, headed to a Dead & Company concert in honor of Grateful Dead Thursday, which it is today. Benny got a head start. He's playing at the AmFam Pro-Am, the AmFam Championship Pro-Am right now at the University Ridge Golf Course. Alex Strofe, your cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. So, since we're off the show tomorrow, we figure, you know what, why don't we move pole dancing up a day? Strofe and Colin Russo are going to be out at University Ridge tomorrow, probably talking golf, hopefully getting some, you guys are going to get some golfers on to talk a little bit about the PGA Live merger and, you know, get into, go into that buzz a little bit.
Yeah, we will definitely attempt to, but I got to know about, I have not asked Colin about the craziest thing he did while he was in Italy for 6 months, so I've got to ask him about that. So that's coming up on the show tomorrow as well. But we got to dive into that if there's actually somebody that knows what they're talking about, unlike me, available to talk about it.
So while Russo and Strofe are going to be talking about him eating pasta in Italy tomorrow, they're not going to be doing pole dancing because we're doing it right now.
They've got questions, and we
At least I'm a part of it, Greg.
Time to give the people what they want. Let's go pole dancing on Scalzo and Brust.
Every week we go up and down the dials. 100.5 ESPN Madison, 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, home of the Golden Beaver. Shout out to Dodge County. To all of our fellow shows, all of our fellow hosts, to the questions they themselves couldn't answer. We say, you know what? We're going to help you out. We'll answer that for you. And pole dancing, brought to you by Great Lakes Dragaway. A quarter mile long drag strip, plus a drift pad. Even drive your own car on the track. Find full event schedule and ticket information at GreatLakesDragaway.com. What do you have this week, Joshy?
Let's start it off with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. You can hear them 7 to 9 a.m. on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee. Can you have more than one best friend? Yes, 71%. No, 29%.
I would say yes, but I do think people take advantage of the word best friend. Like, I've got a best friend from college. I got a best friend from, back home. You have a best friend, at work. You have a best friend, in where you're at now in your life. There's a lot of, there's different best friends in my mind, but that's where it's, usually you qualify, right? My best friend from college or my best friend back home. So I think that's okay. But when you start hearing people referring to, 3 people in the same room as their best friend, it's tough.
It just gets cheesy, right? So I agree with you. I would vote yes here. But I also feel like best friend indicates some exclusivity. So maybe I should be no. There should only be one best friend. But yeah, I'm with you. I have multiple best friends from different stages in life.
I can rank my best friends. You know what I mean? I can do that.
I just want to know where Ben Brust would rank on those rankings.
I'm not going to answer that question.
Good idea.
Let's stick with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy here. Is it disrespectful to refer to someone by just their last name? Yes, 14%. No, 86%.
You know who you're asking this question to, right?
Trophy and Scalzi.
2 guys that are only referred to as their last name. Well, no, it's not disrespectful. I don't know that I've ever heard either of you call me Alex.
No, I sometimes forget your first name. I'd have to think about it.
Right. Nobody does. Nobody
does.
Here's
the thing. It was 2 people who often get referred to as their last name, and Chewy and Wildy, who were both not fans of being called by their last name. Now, Chewy said Chewy's fine because it's a nickname and not technically his last name. But Tausch also agreed that he's okay with being called Tausch, but not Tauscher.
I guess. I called Gina Della on the phone earlier this week, and I'm like, hey, it's Scalzo. I didn't even say, hey, it's Greg.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, yeah, it's Scalzo, whatever. But no, I don't think it's offensive or disrespectful whatsoever. Now, there's a disrespectful way to say anybody's name, whether it's first, last, or nickname, but in itself, no, I don't think calling somebody by their last names is an act of disrespect.
Sticking with Jen Gabe.
The only way that would be disrespectful, real quick, Josh, one more point on this. The only way that could even be moderately disrespectful is that if at some point Wildy, we're just going to use him as the example, said, don't call me Wildy, please just refer to me as Jason, and then we'd have to rebrand the show as Jason and Tausch. But that hasn't happened yet, so I'm going to continue to call him Wildy. Go on.
Yeah, so Wildy doesn't like being called called Wildy?
That's strange to me.
He did say he doesn't mind the show name. It's that when people only call him Wildy, apparently that's the issue. The show name's fine, but he.
So if you see Wildy out at at wherever, you should call him Jason.
Yes.
All right. Good to know.
Noted.
Sticking with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, are you like Jen, rooting for the Packers more than you ever have before, so that Ben Brust has to eat dog food? Yes, 77%. I'm not even going to bother asking you guys, because I know you agree. This is also from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Should Jen Latta have gone up to the car and reprimanded the driver for littering? Yes, 46%. No, 54%.
No. 46% said yes?
It's a good way to get in a confrontation I don't think you're willing to have.
It's also look,
exactly.
Teach your kids not to litter. Don't litter. Tell people not to litter. And we can talk about how littering is bad. But, in the end, people are going to do what they do. You can't just be that concerned with somebody else's behavior that's not causing physical harm, or danger to somebody else.
Yeah, you're spot on. And Josh, you nailed it when he said you might be opening yourself up into an interaction maybe you're not ready for. And I respect the hell out of Jen Latta, right? She's terrific at her job, a terrific person.
What a qualifier.
This does not sound like fun. That doesn't sound like a good idea. I don't know, man. I would never do it. I don't have the cojones to walk up to a stranger and be like, "Hey, why did you throw that McDonald's bag on the ground, dude?" It just sounds like I'm going to get a broken nose, and I don't want that because my nose is already large.
Have either of you ever confronted a complete stranger for something that wasn't worthy of a confrontation? Something akin to this.
Is like a middle finger as I drive by, is that considered a confrontation? It has to be. We have to be
have
stopped.
you ever approached somebody to voice your displeasure with their behavior, despite that behavior not really affecting anyone else?
Yes, I have.
Care to explain?
Go on.
I mean, I definitely have. Like back in college when you're drinking, you definitely like confront people for stuff that like you really don't need to confront them for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure it's happened. Nothing comes to mind because I pretty much try and stay out of people's way.
Do you?
I think so.
I mean, I've seen Joshy get into a couple, not complete dust-ups, but close dust-ups.
You talking like Saturday night at the bar, or where's this happening?
Yeah, I mean, like, it generally happens when you're, like, sober. No, absolutely not. But, like, in my early, like, college years, I'm sure I said some dumb stuff to somebody because they were wearing, like, you know, a sports team, you know, shirt I didn't like. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think I've ever done that. All right, let's move to Homer and Tony, which you can hear 2 to 4 on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee. Is Melanie being petty by hoping that Aaron Rodgers has a bad season for the Jets this year? Yes, 38%. No, 62%. That's Melanie Ricks, who was filling in for Homer yesterday.
I mean, yeah.
Ooh,
it's literally the definition of petty, isn't it?
Guess you could make that case, yeah. I mean, yes, but I would vote yes only because if Aaron Rodgers plays 66% of the snaps, Packers get that pick. So you don't want them to be 0-17, right? You don't want them to be 0-17. You want them to be 8-9. You know, like the Packers were a year ago. They missed the playoffs, but he plays all 17. You get that draft pick, and it's number 15. You know, that's the ideal scenario.
Yeah, I didn't take it from a draft position, the question. I think if you want Aaron to do poorly just because you want to see him struggle, then of course it's petty. If it's about draft capital,
sure,
makes a lot more sense.
Let's move on to Rutledge and Hamilton, where you can hear Alex Strofe, Jim Rutledge, and Matt Hamilton 2 to 4 on 100.5.
Sometimes
ESPN
Matt Hamilton.
Madison, on occasion when he feels like it. This one has been a multi-day thing for you guys. Is chocolate considered a candy? Yes, Jim is right. No, Rutledge is an idiot. 20%.
Hold on. What?
Is chocolate a candy?
Yes.
Yes.
Like what am I missing? Like a Hershey's bar?
All right, hold on. So these results are backwards. So this happened yesterday when I was filling in for Matt, shockingly, and Jim made a comment about, you know, his kids can either have chocolate or candy, and I said, well, Jim, that's the same thing, and he says, no, they're different. And my response was, okay, would you rather have strawberries or fruit? Like, would you rather have a Pepsi or a soda? Right? It's the same thing. And Jim is now dying on this hill, as Rutledge does, because he thinks he's right that chocolate is not a candy.
What? Hold on. What are we talking
What do
about
you
when
mean
you
you
say
agree with
chocolate? Are you talking about like chocolate candy? Like is Reese's
However you
is a
wanna look at
Reese's
it.
peanut butter cup chocolate?
Yes.
And you say that's not a candy?
No.
Yeah, you could not be more wrong on this.
What are we doing right now?
What?
This is one of the most
Reese's
idiotic
peanut butter
questions
cups
Rutledge has ever
aren't
asked.
Candy?
When I think of candy, I'm thinking of like a Sour Patch Kid, a Mike and Ike, something of a sugar fruit basis, whereas a chocolate is a chocolate to me.
Sure, but when I think of a football player, I might think of Ray Lewis, but like Adam Vinatieri is also a football player.
I think
just because you think of it, just because it's the first thing you think of, it doesn't mean that it's like the definition.
Exactly.
But I think the chocolate
So
makers
dumb.
would draw the same line.
Now you're trying to say that you're trying to keep the purity of the chocolate makers?
Unbelievable.
Hey, if they tell me something, I have no choice but to believe them.
But it's a candy. Like I could understand. I would disagree with. I can understand the argument of like Baker's chocolate is not a candy, right? That's like that to me is like a confectionery that you use in baking.
So what is fudge?
Fudge is fudge.
Fudge is fudge.
Chocolate
it's
is
different. Yes,
chocolate.
I agree.
No, but again, like
Yes, but
a
it's also
Hershey's bar,
candy.
a Hershey's bar is candy. Hershey's Kisses.
You find
are
it in the candy bar aisle. What are we even hashing out right now?
I mean,
it is in the candy bar aisle. The first word is candy.
in the chip aisle, but they're not chips.
All right, so let me ask you this.
Yes, they are.
They're cheese
they're not.
curls.
They're not chips. You just fell. You hook, line, and sinker. Joshy set you up for that one. Is a nut roll a candy? Is that a candy bar? Because it's not candy the way that you're thinking of, Josh. You're thinking of like
it's a nougat and doesn't contain chocolate, correct? So it's candy.
I've had this conversation like 6 times in the last 24 hours. Can we please stop?
Josh from Heartland says chocolate is a condiment. Yeah, I'm with Strophe. I'm done with this conversation.
I just like that I dunked all over Alex Strofe. He walked right into my trap.
I don't think he knows what chip is referring to.
You can also find water in the soda aisle. Did you know that?
Oh, they usually have it as beverages. Depends where you shop. Strofe, do you know why it's called the chip?
Why chips are called chips? Is that what you're asking me?
Yep.
No, I guess I don't.
Because I feel like you're taking chip as an overall catch-all there on that. Now, you do have different variations of chips, like corn chips, right? And different types of chips in that regard. But
right, which are also called chips. So what the case you're going to make is because it's sliced potatoes, that's what makes them chips? Is that the case you're about to make?
That's how that started, yeah.
Take a chip off of a potato.
Jeff in Elkhorn said this week has had it all. An epic Are You Smarter Than Ben Brust? And now the most idiotic question of all time. Chocolate is candy. Done. Chef Ed, chocolate is candy. Any confections made with sugar and fillings. 847 says it's called a freaking candy bar, not a bar. Josh drawing the ire of the Scalzo and Brust family.
I didn't think they would be so mad about this. I thought this was universal. I thought everyone thought this way.
I think you're taking this far too literally. Like, I think even if your first indication of what I can't believe that we're still having this conversation. Alex Strofe in for
me neither.
Alex Strofe in for Ben Brust. We'll recap how Ben is doing at the AmFam Championship. Who's this pro again, Joshy?
Nota Begay.
That's right. So a good one for Benny. We'll check in on how he is doing. Strofe has no idea who that is. We'll check in how Benny is doing. We'll get to the polls as well, and we will end it with a unique free beer and pizza Thursday here on Scalzo and Brust. We're presented by Michelob Ultra.
You're listening to Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
I don't know if it's the brain, I don't know if it's the eyes, but like for
equilibrium,
8 times. Well, eyes, maybe you weren't seeing the ball the way you should have. Maybe
vertigo,
it's something with your inner ear that's affecting your balance. Like,
I was just rattled.
Dude, 8 times?
Get the prostate checked, too, while you're at it.
David Minona's blind. I could get him to hit the golf ball in 3 tries.
Scalzo and Brust. Available anywhere you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Greg Scalzo here for 3 Tree Marketing, a full-service branded merchandise agency using creative merchandising to share your company's story. Be the envy of others with specialized gifting and onboarding kits from 3 Tree. It's just one example of how they're different than other people in their space. They're really about experience. They're about helping your business tell their story through product and showcase what your brand is about with branded merchandise. See what 3 Tree Marketing can do for you and your team. It's who we work with here at ESPN Milwaukee. Go to 3treemarketing.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Magoo's on the Mound is your game day headquarters. Located on 59th and Blue Mound, just minutes from the ballpark. Magoo's has food options for everyone and a vast selection of craft beers and cocktails. Enjoy some drinks and watch all the games with your buds. Or stay entertained with pool, darts, trivia, poker, or live music. Plus, Magoo's on the Mound offers plenty of free parking and shuttles to all home games for the crew. Check out their food and drink menu as well as upcoming events at magoos.biz. That's magoos.biz.
Yeah, they're football guys, but they don't shy away from the big topics of the day.
We won a championship, and my dad brought me 8 chips to eat on the drive because he wouldn't stop for a snack.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of truth in that. Just imagine if we lost. He wouldn't even got those chips.
Weekdays 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
I think a lot of Miami is momentum-like. It's how you allow them to play. So in game 2, you saw Max Strus find his rhythm very quick on miscues and miscommunication from Denver, right? Which they got rolling offensively. So you saw that. In the first 2 games, Denver contested Miami on 41% of their threes. Last night, they contested them on 61%.
Made a difference.
61%. So when you're butt naked and you see the ball go in multiple times, you build a confidence. You get a rhythm. You get that lather. Last night, it never felt like Miami was able to find that lather.
They got to get open shots somehow early in the game.
Jimmy Butler had 9 assists in game 2, man. I mean,
what do you have last night? 4?
4. So I mean, you saw the defense collapse multiple times, and Jimmy made the right reads, and guys were knocking down shots. You didn't see a lot of wide open, uncontested shots last night.
Wendy's is open till midnight or later, so you can give in to the craving and go night mode. Now all of your favorite menu items just got their bedtime extended. You can get what you want even later, like the Baconator with 6 strips of bacon, or the perfect fries and frosty duo. If you're up later, then so are we. So go ahead and pull through the drive-thru. When the craving hits, go night mode at Wendy's. Open till midnight or later. All right, see ya later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary.
Hey, Jake, can you finish that induction range installation tomorrow?
Orders have really amped up at Nate's Electric.
We need to finish installing it first in Maine. Did we hear back from the grocery chain?
It's no shock he needs electricians, like yesterday.
Smart fridge. Everybody wants one of those these days.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
It's free beer and free pizza Friday on Scalzo and Brust. Stay tuned to win a case of beer from Ben's Beer Fridge and the overtop deliciousness of a screamin' Sicilian pizza. Whew, it's so screamin' good.
Around. Gone are the days when the ladies said, please, Jelly Jack Jones, won't you come to me?
I hope they play this one tomorrow, Joshy. I don't know if we're going to get it. You sent me a set list. Is that... They're going to vary the set list considerably.
No, the reason
right?
I sent you the set list was because they were
timing.
They were telling us that we got to be there at 6:30. The set list, I've looked at many of them. They change. Will see repeats, but you never.
They're going to play Shakedown Street.
Yeah,
we're probably going to get Dark Star.
We're going to get Drum Space both nights.
Yeah,
but they, for the most part, I don't see repeats night to night.
Yeah,
like per any set, you're going to get.
What cover do you think we see tomorrow? We're going to see Dead & Company on a Grateful Dead Thursday here, tomorrow at Wrigley Field. Me, Benny, Josh going all down to the show. They're going to do a Chicago cover, right? Like, they're going to do it. Who do you think we're going to get? It's going to be like a Pearl Jam cover?
They might. I was thinking, like... That's a great question.
Is this the John Mayer version? Is this the one John Mayer is the lead singer of? Okay, I gotcha. I follow who we're talking about now.
Yeah.
Does he fit the vibe well? I imagine he does. He's been doing this a few years, right?
Yeah. I mean, he does a good job of playing the cherry part.
Have you guys seen this version of this rendition of Dead & Co.?
No.
I have not.
No, I've seen a lot of cover bands.
Exciting.
But I have not seen this version. Alex Strofe, your cousin's up, in for Ben Brust. Speaking of the concert tomorrow on Twitter, at Scalzo and Brust, we did post one poll today. That poll was, will Ben Brust look like a narc in a tie-dye Grateful Dead shirt at the Dead & Company show tomorrow? 76% of the Scalzo and Brust family says yes, 24% says no. Daniel the Sloth just wants to now be the official unofficial landscaper of Scalzo and Brust. I think we can make that happen. He sent me a beautiful picture of the work that he's been doing. It looks very
here's
quality.
the thing. I've had the honor of talking to Daniel multiple times. Unless he speeds up his cadence and talks with a little more pep in his step, he's always going to be the sloth.
608 chimes in and says, Josh, someday you'll have kids and you'll send them into a quick trip to get chips and candy, and they'll come out with a bag of Cheetos and a Twix, and that's when you'll learn you were wrong about chips and candy.
I don't think
that deserves a round of applause.
I don't know what a child going in to do that means.
I mean, children tend to know what a basic definition is quite a bit. We're not going back down this road. I can't believe I got pulled right back in here. Once again, we're off tomorrow. You're going to get Alex Strofe and Colin Russo along with G. Have fun out at the AmFam Championship. Get your tickets at amfamchampionship.com if you don't already have them. Since we're not ending tomorrow with a free beer and pizza Friday, we're going to do a free beer and pizza Thursday. You're going to get your Palermo's Pizza. You're going to get some beer from 21st Amendment. We just do caller number 1 in Madison, caller number 1 in Milwaukee, 800-990-ESPN, 800-990-3776. Free beer and pizza Thursday. I'll see you guys in a couple weeks, man. We'll be back on June 20th.
Enjoy it, brother.
Yes. Thank you, Strophy, for all the fill-ins you'll be doing. Coming up next across ESPN Wisconsin, you're going to get Joe and Amber in Milwaukee and Beaver Dam. In Madison, you get Prep Mania, a special featuring Alex Strofe, the top games of the 2022-2023 season.
Delays are pretty extensive right now. We have an accident